Jive Talkin, my friends, it's another episode of the podcast that never ends. Heavy metal news, hard rockin' news, don't get no blues. Do you want to get a podcast? Podcast with Shane Diablo, it's coming now. Yeah, let's start this right now. That almost landed right on that. I would not give that a 10. Would not give that a 10 out of 10 if we were doing a first listen type of scenario, because it did have that that ended it. But welcome, one and all, back to another episode of Jive Talkin. It's a weekly podcast, heavy metal and hard rock news experience. We take it in a different direction. And this is a no request zone. This video right here, if you're watching it on YouTube or on Spotify or wherever you're doing it, if you go to the YouTube and you put your comments down below at the end of this episode or closer to the end, what's that? It's not the prequel, it's the prequel, whatever it is that's the end of the whole thing. That's where we do your comments every week, and I love it. That's my favorite part. Now you guys are probably saying, what's up with this, dude? Why is he wearing a wig? It's not a wig. I'm doing this to prove a point to you. I have mentioned that I'm going bald. This beautiful brown stuff that you see right here is my real hair. See, I can give it a pull like that. It's very easy for me to do. But do not be alarmed when I take this hat off, okay? I'm not going to look like this the whole fucking thing, but I just wanted to prove a point. And you gotta let things go. Like hair, like bat, whatever it is. You got to just kind of roll with the punches. So here you go. See how lovely and thick that is? And then just right through there, it looks like someone has ran a bicycle tire or something over my head. But you live, and as you live your life, things like that happen. The elastic in parts of your body just doesn't do the same things. It's not as elastic as elasticity. But I welcome you one and all. I hope you're having a wonderful life, a wonderful day. I hope you're staying in the confines of the present moment. You're living your life and you're doing things and you're interacting with people without having stuff behind your ears or thoughts back here that you're trying to think about that's throwing you off from having a good conversation. This is a long-form video. It's a podcast. So I welcome you in. I hope you join me on this journey. Marty Friedman. I do have something that I want to talk about when it comes to, I have tuned back into the Wild Wild West, the old TV series. And there, I watched the first episode last night, and I'm telling you, there was a double politically incorrect moment. And I want to talk about that and see if you guys remember this actor and all of that stuff. But let's kick off the heavy metal news. We can't get it started with horse shit. We have to get it started with what we're here to do, which is heavy metal and hard rock news. Marty Friedman. Now, you want to talk some beautiful locks. The guy has beautiful hair. And I'm going to put mine up if you don't mind. I just need to do that. At least get it, Sometimes it bothers, okay? It bothers. But look at that. Good-looking fella. Long, beautiful hair. Takes care of it. Pantene. I wonder if he uses the same stuff that Kerry King uses in his beard. That's what he likes to use. But I wanted to get into this. So many stories to get to and so many fun times to be had that we start it now. That's what we do now. Marty Friedman says he was initially angry. I was kind of angry. Then I was just puzzled and kind of sad about Megadeth's salary offers for the Rust in Peace lineup reunion. Now, I didn't read that last word, reunion, but I thought he was going to be talking about his salary that he got for being on Rust in Peace, but let's figure it out. Let's go for it. Former Megadeth guitarist Marty Friedman has once again admitted that money was a major motivator for him when he was approached about taking part in a reunion of the band's Rust in Peace lineup nearly a decade ago. We have Montisari in there now, and the wonderful James Lomenzo. There's no need to go mucking that up, Dave. Leave it alone. Leave it be. The opportunity for Megadeth's most celebrated lineup to regroup arose following the departure of guitarist Chris Broderick and drummer Sean Drover in 2014. So he came back? Or is my brain's going shit? Friedman had met with main man Dave the Dave Man Mustaine and then Megadeth bassist David Ellefson at the 2015 NAMM show in Anaheim, California, to discuss a reunion of the Rust in Peace lineup, which would have seen him and drummer Nick Menza, rest in peace, back in the mix. 10 years ago? Why do I feel like that was a lot longer when Nick Menza passed away? I think there's a documentary that I thought I saw that I want to watch about Nick. Friedman, who moved from America to Japan, in 2003, opened up about his reasons for turning down the Megadeth reunion in his autobiography, or his memoir, Dreaming Japanese. It's better than turning Japanese. That would be a politically incorrect thing to do, correct? Because this is, what I'm going to talk about in the Wild Wild West is one of a politically incorrect, what do you call it? He ain't not going to be what Japanese or whatever. You know, like the olden days when all the Western movies that you'd see on TV, it was all Italians that were playing Indians. They just put a fucking feather in his head. He'd be fine, we shoot him up. That's kind of the situation. I understand it was a way back in the years, and we've grown and figured some more things out along the path, which you're supposed to do. You don't go from fucking breaking rocks and shit to build a railroad system to staying with that same mind fret, do you? Life is a journey, not a destination. So that journey takes you on different paths, and you figure out how to live amongst many different kinds of people. His memoir, Dreaming Japanese, which was released December 3rd, per Muted Press, they're not good. I never heard of that. Reflecting on the salary offer, doink doink, Megadeth's then manager Ron Lafitte. Oh, he's fired him too, huh? Made for him to rejoin the band. Friedman wrote, "Let's just say he wasn't even in the ballpark." Hell, he wasn't even in the parking lot of the ballpark. So some of that measle money, it was like 30 grand, 30 G's, 30K. He wasn't even in the ballpark. Hell, he wasn't even in the parking lot of the ballpark or even across the street at the Best Buy next to the parking lot of the ballpark. The amount they offered was right about the first salary I got when I joined Megadeth in 1990. If I had any idea they would lowball me like this, I never would have met them in Anaheim. I wouldn't. Had I taken that offer, I would have been paid less in a week than I made in a normal day in Japan. He's all over in Japan. They love him there. I was stunned and angry. We got Rob Halford talking about being stunned and thrilled. A lot of emotions going on in this episode, I think. I was stunned and angry and told them I couldn't even consider that. I made a counteroffer, which was the bare minimum I could accept, and far less than I have received for any of the artists I've toured with in Japan. Referencing the fact that Lafitte, ooh, do you hear my guts there rattle? Referencing the fact that Lafitte floated the possibility of a Megadeth tour with Iron Maiden, you wouldn't want to do that, would you? As the first order of business after the reunion of the Rust in Peace lineup, Marty continued, I was willing to take that financial hit. Because a reunion tour with Megadeth opening for Iron Maiden could open doors for me again in America. I'm thinking about doing a long video, like what we do when we're looking at Wikipedia and all that, about Cacophony, because I know nothing about them. Everyone wants to slap my ass every time Jason Becker comes up. So I thought, well, what better way to learn about Marty Friedman, Jason Becker, the band is go through the band Cacophony and just figure out all the shit that they've done. I've thought about that. And the door's open. Get in the comments. Tell me what you think of that. You say, no, I wouldn't watch that at all, dude. I don't watch half your shit, but I wouldn't watch that. I mean, you could say that if you want in the comments. Even if they met my rate. Even if they met my rate. The tour would have been a huge windfall for them. They easily could have agreed to that, and the reunion would have been on. But they said I wanted too much money. Well, Dave likes to have the money. He's got that big fanny pack he wears around, you know, and he likes to stuff all the money in it and have it for himself. I was happy with my career in Japan, doing what I loved. Making real money. Is it the equivalent? Is the Japanese yen, is that what it is? Is it equivalent to the American dollar? That would be a question I would ask. Without the kind of drama that comes with Megadeth, they didn't even acknowledge they had just lost their guitarist and drummer and needed me more than I needed them. When I so they didn't bring up the fact that those two were gone, right? And they needed me more than I needed them. I'll tell you that right now. When I got over my initial anger, oof, I just get them up like that. I say, I scratch your damn eyes. I was puzzled, and then, quite frankly, I was sad. Now, he's not saying this part, but I would add it. I'm adding this for him. And my sadness wouldn't be for me and my wonderful career in Japan. It would be the sadness that Dave Mustaine likes to have all the money in his fanny pack all the time. And he doesn't like to share it with anybody. There you have that. Let's talk about the Billy Corgan man. He says that fuel, give me fuel, give me fire, give me all that you desire. Sounds a lot like one of his tunes. Is that true? Are they ripping them? Did they do that? I can tell you right now they did. Well, I don't know if they did, but I can tell you I listened to both those bits. And maybe what we'll do is we'll insert it, and if you don't hear it at all, then you know that they ding me. Because I bet you just that, give me fuel, give me fire, give me, before the riff starts, we'll get it dinged. If it gets dinged, you don't see it. Because I'll clip it out. But I'm telling you, those riffs do sound a lot alike. Now, to be fair, that I've heard that riff a lot in other songs. So. Oh yeah, that was good. That was good, guys. First, before we get into the story, I want to tell you that I watched Adventures in Carneyland. Billy Corgan here. Looks like a vampire. The world is a vampire. But I watched it. It's like 8 episodes, and they're only about 30 minutes long. But basically what the whole gist is, and maybe the wonderful Blabbermouth will probably do the work for us and mention it, but he's always loved wrestling, so he took over the NWA, which while I'm watching it, I go, holy shit, that's what I remember. I remember watching the NWA and then going, the fuck is this WWF? You know, when it turned over to that. But 5 stars. It's kind of a reality. It follows him around, and he's doing Smashing Pumpkins, and he's doing wrestling, and he's trying to bring them together, all while he's trying to get married to his beautiful wife, Chloe, which is in the final episode. But I hope there's another season of that. A lot of wrestling stuff in there, a lot of rock and roll from Billy Corgan. And anyone's free to clip this and use this for some kind of Entertainment Weekly ad if you'd like to just to promote his show. I think it's on Amazon Prime, and it was enjoyable. And what a lovely guy. Can I just say that about him? This big chin here. What a lovely person and very smart. I didn't know what to think about old Billy, but my God, I really like him. Other than he's got these fucking fists up at me. You think you can fucking take me, pal? Take a bang. I'll give you a couple of them. Bang, right in the tootsie. Bang. Am I at least hitting at him? Bang, bang, bang. Anyways, Billy Corgan says Metallica's Fuel sounds awfully close to Smashing Pumpkins' Tales of a Scorched Earth. In a new interview with Australia's Everblack podcast, Billy Corgan from the Smashing Pumpkins brought up Metallica while discussing whether the Smashing Pumpkins have ever performed their Tales of a Scorched Earth song. Well, let me ask you this, mate. Have you ever done that song, what you wrote live? Tales of the Scorched Earth. Have you ever done that, mate? Which originally appeared on the band's 1995 album, Melancholy and the Infinite Sadness. That's the one that has Tonight, Tonight and all of them on it, right? Have you ever done that live before off that album? Billy says, let me caveat this by saying that I love James Hetfield as a person. See? I'm telling you, he's a sweet son of a bitch, this guy. He's not going to have a bad word. He's going to say, yeah, they ripped me off, but they're wonderful. I love James Hetfield as a person. I love Metallica. I saw them in 1984 and all the great stuff. And James is probably the greatest riff writer outside of maybe Black Sabbath's Tony Iommi. James has written some of the greatest music, amazing riffs, some of the greatest, most amazing riffs, and he's still writing them. But if you listen to Tales of the Scorched Earth, in spite of my rage, and you listen to Metallica's song Fuel, you know that one from 1997 in the Reload album? Give me fuel, give me fire, give me that which I desire. You know that song? See, a little light bulb went off in your brain. Now, which song came first? It's the old chicken and the egg. I love it. Billy's a smart man. He's playing the chicken and the egg with him. Which came first? But this Australian guy says, why? Well, I might have to think about that one for a minute, ain't I? Give me fuel, give me fire, give me that which I desire. See, a little light bulb went over your head. Oh, it did, didn't it? Oh, mate. Oh. It's a little light bulb. I just go to England every damn time, I'll tell you what. After the interview noted that Tales of the Scorched Earth was released 2 years before Fuel, Corgan said, God bless you. Now, I don't think James would rip anything off from me, but the first time I heard the song, I was like, whoa! That's awfully close. I was telling my beautiful wife, Chloe, who was sitting next to me, and I says, that's awfully close. But I love me some James. And I'd love somebody trying to get a troll headline out of that. Some clickbait out of that. Well, you watch me. I'm doing it. Do it right now. I'm getting clickbaits. Oh, Billy's adding something. My father used to say, look, there's only 12 notes. Your father said that. Very smart, man. So that's the great thing. We all rip each other off. Yeah, you do. I just thought about something that I learned. You know, Elvis Presley didn't write half of them goddamn delicious songs that he wrote. It was a black guy named Otis Blackwood or something like that. Freaking wrote all these, like, I don't be cruel to the... And he wrote Great Balls of Fire and all that. I was some video popped up. I think he's on David Letterman. Otis Blackwood, Otis something like that. And he's like, yeah, I put all this shit down on demos, and I take it over to the studio, and then they go ahead and give it to Elvis Presley. And that guy didn't even say, oh, thank you very much. You know, whatever the hell. I don't know. You look it up yourself. You don't believe me? You call me a liar. Pictures prove it. You go look it up yourself. Then you can come back to these comments and say, you're a damn liar. You are a damn liar. But I am not. My father used to say there's only 12 notes, so that's the great thing. We all rip each other off. And if it works, great. I've got no problem with that. I mean, I've certainly ripped Metallica off plenty. So just a wonderful person. I mean that in the sweetest way, in the most loving way. Back in 2010, Corgan picked Metallica's Master O' Puppets as one of his favorite metal bands of all time. Telling Music Radar about the LP, it's the perfect combo of blitzing riffs matched with the beginnings of Hetfield. God, he's got a hard-on for Hetfield. Hetfield finding the melodies weren't just something in the way of his robotic right hand. This is a smart metal at its greatest level. Oh, this is the smart metal at its greatest level. I don't think this guy could not... He compliments everybody. Boy, his wife sure is beautiful, too. And they got 2 lovely kids together, but they've never been married. And they have these 2 wonderful children. And he's been a wrestling nut his whole life. So he's like the owner of this NWA. He's trying to get it off the ground, get it to beat that goddamn mammoth. World Wrestling Entertainment. See, I didn't even like that when they went. I said, no, it's WWF. It ain't no goddamn WWE. Ever so quickly, guys, I'll tell you about Wild Wild West. I'll tell you about the politically incorrect double whammy. In one scene, you're like, no, that's impossible. I'll tell you now. Now, you guys are going to remember this actor. I got some images here because I figured, that'd be a good thing to do. So this is the actor, okay? Now, you've seen him in 100 things, and I think he's in several episodes of Wild Wild West. By the way, it's on Pluto, the free channel, so you can go watch him. But I'm going to watch the whole series. I love it. But this is the guy, as you can see, this middle age. He's probably my age in this. Creamy white guy. Okay, well, here is him playing a Chinese man in the first episode of the series, The Wild Wild West. And the whole time, and I'm going to spoil this episode because, it doesn't matter. There's several others. There's like 144 episodes. Go damn watch the rest of them. But here's the double whammy. This is politically incorrect, what he's done here. It was a different time. You're going to say, Shane, it was a different time. I understand that. But the double whammy here is the very end of this episode. This is where he's in James West's kick-ass train because he's working for the government. And they gave him his own train. The great thing about this show is it's set in the Wild Wild West. You don't even watch that dumbass movie. That's crap, okay? I haven't even seen that movie. I know it's crap. Don't even watch it. But it's based on this show. And he's got these high-tech gadgets that you're like, that would not be around in the Wild Wild West. But that's what he's got. So this is him going, Mr. James, it is time, I'm going to plug you full of holes, or whatever he's going to do. They get into a big battle. They're in front of a pool table. So, of course, the pool cues turn into guns and knives and everything. Well, ching, he pulls out a sword, sticks the guy, right? Guy goes down. The double whammy of politically incorrect here is that James West goes down, and you're kind of looking at him the whole time going, I mean, the makeup's pretty good, but not, this might be a really long podcast, but I'm going to spit this out. So James goes down and starts to pick at his face and then tears off this Chinese face that he's wearing. And it's a Mexican face with and he's like, and he just does this horrible accent. So not only was the white guy playing the Chinese guy, but underneath the makeup of the Chinese guy, he was wearing makeup of a Mexican guy from Wild West Mexican, the battles and stuff. I'm sorry about that. Let's see what the Corgi Bear says about Pantera. Because someone's very rightly and smartly mentioned Pantera to him, and he's going to say something about it, but I'll tell you right now, I haven't read a word of it. He's going to say sweet things and wonderful things, not mean things.
Pantera, I get to see many times live. I knew them back in the day. Dimebag Darrell even gave me a guitar, which I treasure. Pantera was one of the bands in the early 90s that not everybody on the alternative side of the equation understood right away, because they were seen as just straight up metal band. But eventually, I think a lot of people in alternative music recognized that Pantera was one of the bands that sort of transcended genres. And I say genres. I don't say genre, I say genre. I think thematically and the way they changed metal and the way people played metal afterwards, I think it's almost put them in too small of a category. They should be in a bigger one. And like the great metal bands, they tend to almost create their own category of music.
You're a smart pumpkin. You're a smart one, Mr. Korg. Your head's a giant. Let's get on to this. Speaking of heads, look at that. He's got one that looks just like Billy Corg's right there. How did they do that? They've got matching skulls, Rob Halford and Billy Corgan. God bless them. Ever so quickly, just with Rob Halford, he's going to just talk about, I thought it was surprised. He was surprised and shocked and also thrilled by Gojira's performance at the Olympic Games. Remember that? That amazing performance? Well, it says here that Rob Halford was surprised and shocked and thrilled. So it was like, holy fuck! And it's like, oh. And like, ah. I don't know if those are the right ones. That's surprise. Shock. Who the fuck is that? Probably when that lady, she was holding a severed head in her hands. He was probably shocked at that point. And then when he realized that it was just a fake scenario, and it wasn't a woman that had her head cut off, and in real life, he was thrilled. He's like, oh, good. So she gets to go home and just do regular things.
Rob Halford, the metal god.
Rob Halford was surprised and shocked and thrilled by Gojira's performance at the Olympic Games opening ceremony. Judas Priest singer Rob Halford has weighed in on Gojira performance at this year's Olympics. Just amazing. Gojira performed a surprise rendition of A Ka Ira, a popular song during the French Revolution, alongside opera singer Marina Viotti, as well as Queen Marionette. That's what I was trying to remember, the name of the head with the lady with the chopped off head. As well as a number of beheaded figures representing the slain Queen Marie Antoinette. So that's the lady that, had her head chopped off. Halford told Heavy Consequence about Gojira's appearance as transcribed by the fine and fantastic Blabbermouth.net. I was surprised and shocked
and you wouldn't bleeding bloody believe it, but I was thrilled as well, and delighted even, to see metal on the Olympics, because I'm an Olympics fan, like most people, because it's teamwork. All of these athletes get there by their own skills and endurance and perseverance. But there's a team around them. And any winner will say, yeah, if it wasn't for my coach, if it wasn't for my family, and da, 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 da. So, what I mean by this is Gojira Band. The Gojira Band is a family. It's a metal family. It's a metal community. So, wow. That was just such a thrill and a delight. And shout out to the French for doing something like this. Some countries would be a little bit hesitant. But this is the beauty of France. And I was going to say gay Paris. That's what they call it in France, right? But also, Rob Halford is a gay person, a gay man. Gay Paris. But they don't mean it like that. Gay is also happy, right? Is that what they mean by Paris? Happy Paris? They are such a cosmopolitan place for all arts. It's not like, oh, you can't put metal in the Olympics. You say that, it's Gojira. It's great, and they deserve it. Rob added, I've been rooting for Gojira. I love that band. I have been a Gojira fan since day one. So, yes, again, a big thrill, a delight, a thrill, a big thrill, a shock, and a surprise to me. So, yeah, again, a big thrill for that band. And I hope to bump into those guys at the 2025 Grammy Awards, where Gojira and Priest are both nominated on the red carpet or whatever. Yeah, but Rob, it's during the day. They do the metal shit during the day when no one's there. They might not even have the red carpet set up. They give that award away when they're doing like editing, best, whatever other awards there are. And I might be breaking it to Rob right now, but all you're going to win is best metal performance. That's it. You're not going to win best metal album, best metal song. There's just best metal performance. That's it. Then they kick your ass out and they say, we need the seats for Beyonce. Beyonce and all of them are going to be sitting right where you are in about 2 hours. So get the fuck out. Yes. Mark Tremonti says that Robert Plant. Do you know who Robert Plant is? He is the lead singer for Led Zeppelin. He's standing at a mic right now going, there's a lady who's sure all that glitters is gold. You know it. You know he's singing it right now. Mark Tremonti. Amazing. What does he do? Mark Tremonti. He's got his band Tremonti. He's got Alter Bridge. He's got... What else has he got? He's got Creed, damn it. He's a guitar player in Creed, for crying out loud. He did a Frank Sinatra record, and I have told you before on these episodes. Now, if you're a good person, you've listened to all of them, so you understand what I mean by this. But he did a Frank Sinatra record, and the dude sounds like Frank Sinatra when Frank Sinatra was 35 years old. Years young. And that is why Robert Plant and me think that he sounds great. He did not just like Mark Tremonti's Frank Sinatra album. He loved it. Mark Tremonti says Robert Plant loved his collection of Frank Sinatra covers.
In May 2022, Mark Tremonti. Oh, they're going to list it off, and you're going to see how good I do. Guitarist, singer, songwriter, founding member of the rock band's Creed, Alter Bridge, and Tremonti released a collection of Sinatra covers to support NDSS, National Down Syndrome Society. The guy's a fucking saint. Not only does he go, New York, New York, then he donates all that money to a good cause. Just when you think this guy can't get any better, I'm telling you, this podcast is chock full of sweet people. Except for the next guy. I was going to talk about the Rob Zombie's got a coloring book, but we're not going to get to that because Nicko McBrain, okay? And then we got your comments and all that. But anyways, in May 2022, Mark Tremonti, he's in Creed. Alter Bridge Tremonti released a collection of Sinatra covers to support the National Down Syndrome Society. Tremonti Sings Sinatra was made available as part of a new charity initiative created by Tremonti. He created initiatives called Take a Chance for Charity. Proceeds from the album will go to support NDSS and the work they do to advocate for support individuals with Down syndrome and their families. Now, this is off topic slightly, but I do want to mention something. I understand that Down syndrome and autism are different, but I wanted to make mention because it just popped in my head. If you have not seen Love on the Spectrum, and I have watched the Australian version and the American version, I think 3 times a piece, just the most wonderful. It makes your heart pitter-patter with just innocent happiness. If you haven't watched that, and don't say, hey, dude, I'm fucking lifting weights over here. I'm smoking, I'm doing it, I'm fucking playing hacky sack with my fucking friends, and now you're telling me to sit down and watch a sissy show? No, I'm telling you to sit down and watch some wonderful human beings try and find love. That's what I'm telling you to do, you son of a bitch. But it is just the sweetest damn show. And now I'm going to say something that may piss some people off about Love on the Spectrum is I like the Australian better. The mother of one of them, his name's Michael in the Australian, and the mother is just an absolute ray of light. She is, if we could all live as happy as this woman is, we would all just be dipping ourselves in caramel every damn day, I'm telling you. Let's get on with this shit. I got to get to this he's not a bad guy, Chris Jericho, but we got to get to him. In a new interview with the producer of YouTube, Rick Beato, he's very good. I've seen his channel. I've watched a few of his videos. If Rick Beato, if you're watching this, hello, and thank you for beautifully shot, by the way. His videos are just beautiful. You know, he's talking music with fucking, who's his name? Dave Gilmore. And it's just beautiful. It's like so cozy and relaxing. I'm like, how can I do that? I want to do something cozy and relaxing. I want to have something where people go, I'm just chilling, man. And he's sitting with a log on the fire. In a new interview with producer, YouTuber Rick Beato, Tremonti stated about Tremonti Sings Sinatra as transcribed by the fine blabbermouth.net. It's one of those things I'm most proudest of in my entire career. It's been the most gratifying, satisfying thing. I always tell people, I could have recorded 1,000 rock records before some of the people that heard this and commented on it would have even taken notice. You hear my guts? I remember Slash. Do you know who he is? He's that guy who wears that big that top hat. Guns N' Roses. He gave us a great quote. He loved it. And Paul Stanley, you know him? He's the star child from the rock group Knights in Saint and Service, was online talking about it. And I remember one day I was on tour in Europe, and I had a bad day. I was Well, I had a bad day. We'll just leave it there. I forgot what it was. I was just kind of in a rotten mood. And Scott Stapp was, kindly coming over and putting his arms on my breasts and stuff and asking me how I was. And I get off stage and I pick up my phone, and it's my buddy Tom Robb. He's got 2 first names. And he's security for Robert Plant. So you could have him killed if you wanted to. You could have Tom Robb. You say, Tom, it's time to take him down. If he's like his personal security. Robert Plant, a Led Zeppelin, and Metallica. So he works both. Tom Robb must be something else. He's a busy guy. He's just an awesome guy. That's what he says here. He's a good friend of mine. He's like, I got to tell you, I was talking to my boss. I call him Mr. Plant, Robert Plant, to Bonnaroo. Or I was taking Mr. Plant to Bonnaroo. And I played him your Frank Sinatra CD. I hope it wasn't Frank Sinatra. And he loved it. All right, well, first thing I'm going to say, Mr. Tremonti, is that's your buddy allegedly saying that he loved it. Mr. Plant has not spoken out unless later in this story he does come forward and say, what Tom Robb has said about that record, I agree with. But Tremonti's a nice guy. Maybe he's going to say something like, hey, but, talk is cheap, maybe something. He loved it. I'm like, what? Wait the frick a minute. Robert Plant listened to my Sinatra thing? I mean, I just call it a thing. It's not even, it's just something I did. And of course, I'm trying to promote it, so I'm like, could you get a quote for me? That is why Tremonti is because he is about to get that quote. Oh, he never got the quote. Then you can't say this next line, Mr. Tremonti. But just to know that Robert Plant listened to it and enjoyed it, you can't say that because it's all alleged now. Tom Robb may be lying to you because he was, sometimes you just do those little white fibs. White lies. They call them little white lies where, do I look fat in this? No, you look great. Those kinds of things. And what he may have been doing there is go, you know what? I heard through the grapevine that a friend of mine, Mr. Tremonti's having a bad day. So I'm going to send him this off. And then what you've done is ran with it. And now Mr. Plant is going to be forced to be put in a situation where he's got to say, oh, I didn't say that. Oh, I told him to throw that fucking thing out the window. I wanted to hear the real Frank Sinatra. That's what I told Mr. Tom Robb. But just to know Robert Plant listened to it and enjoyed it, well, when would that have happened with anything I've ever done? That's a good point he's making. He's saying, even though I spit that out and it sounded like an idiot, what he's saying is Robert Plant ain't going to listen to his horse shit creed. He ain't going to listen to Tremonti. He ain't going to listen. Yeah, Robert Plant ain't going to sit down and put on the new Alter Bridge record. That ain't going to happen. Regarding how the idea for Tremonti Sing Sinatra came about, I don't want to get into all that, but he says, I was just practicing singing like Frank Sinatra because I loved it. Just like a young guitar player would, it would be like a practicing jazz and knowing that I'm never going to write a jazz song. But when we got the diagnosis that my daughter was going to be born with Down syndrome, I'm like, not only is he a sweet and wonderful man, he's a loving father. It just keeps getting so much better with him. My was going to be born with Down syndrome. I'm like, I want to do this record and do it for charity. So I called my manager, Tim. It's not Tim Robb, is it? Tom Robb? And I said, let's call some local musicians and put a band together. He's like, how about we do some local musicians and put a band together. See, this could turn into a circular thing, because I'm looking at this line right here and it says, how about we do, say, and if I didn't see something better, you could say some local bands and put some bands together. He's like, how about we do some local musicians and put some bands together? He's like, see what I'm saying? Am I descending into madness? My guitar teacher was Frank Sinatra. He says, how about we do something better? My guitar teacher was Frank Sinatra's guitar player on tour. So he set up a meeting with Dan McIntyre, is that right? His guitar player. And Mike Smith, Frank Sinatra's alto sax player. He's like, hold on, I can hit the notes. So, I mean, you gotta have some shit here to keep blowing in them horns when you get up there in age. Can you hear my guts going crazy? I got a panda bowl waiting for me downstairs. That won't stop me from doing this. Is this the best podcast you've ever listened to in your life? I'm just wondering. All right, let's get on with it. The old guys come in. So I called my manager, Tim, and I said, let's do something better. My guitar teacher, Dan McIntosh, yes. Well, can your boy sing? That's what the band asked him. Tim had never heard me sing Frank Sinatra. Start spreading the news. I'm leaving today. And fucking Tim's just sitting over there going, I wanna be Tim's like, oh my God. Let's call some local music. Let's get on with it. So I'm like in the bathroom singing, that's why I like be a lady tonight. Luck if you've ever had something to begin with. Luck be a lady tonight. And I sent him a clip of it. And they set up a studio session right off that. They says, damn, that's good. We were just going to do 2 songs to see how it worked out. And one of the most difficult things was really convincing the Sinatra family and the business to let us do this. But you know what? They're going to look like satanics. They're going to look like, not satanics, I'm going to take that back. Because satanics are good people too. They're going to look like a bunch of bastards if they turned, well, this is for Down syndrome. I'd like to do this record, Mrs. Sinatra family. No. Headlines. Frank Sinatra hates Down syndrome. It's right there. It writes itself. My way. I did it my way. It says that. He sang that one down there. Anyways, we're moving on. He was very happy with it, and he's done that. And Robert Plant, we got to the bottom of that. We cannot say that he did, in fact, do that. There's Chris Jericho. Now, I didn't mean to say that he was a bad guy. He's not a bad guy. He's a wonderful guy. Is this a 2-scarf, 3-scarf day? No, 1 scarf. Chris Jericho says, and we've got a clip that will be clipped if they try and ding this video, but we've got a video from Iron Maiden saying goodbye and farewell to Mr. Nicko McBrain. Chris Jericho from Fozzy, wrestler, in that ACW, EVW. Chris Jericho, and the only reason I said EV is because I could see that on his shirt there. And I thought, oh, maybe that's something. EVW. During an appearance on December 9th, Sirius XM.
Rock Nation with Eddie the Junk Man, Junk in the Trunk.
Fozzy frontman and wrestling superstar Chris Jericho. Oh, I thought they was going to mention the company that he wrestles in. Chris Jericho weighed in on Iron Maiden drummer Nicko McBrain's announcement over the weekend that he was retiring from playing live with the legendary heavy metal act. Chris said as transcribed, "So, Chris, did you hear, how did you feel about the news when Nicko said that he wasn't going to do it no more?" Weed, man. Oh! What did he say? Damn it. Where's it at? Chris, transcribed by the blabbermouth. We just saw Nicko in Minneapolis probably a month ago or so. And I asked him, like, how are you doing? Because no one ever really asks you that. No one really sincerely asks you. Sure, you can walk by people and go, "Hi, hey, how you doing?" You don't give a shit. But I wanted to know. I was looking eye to eye with him and I asked, "How are you doing?" He did have a stroke. And I saw a clip from, this is Nicko McBrain that had a stroke. Not me, not Chris Jericho. But I saw a clip of Bruce Dickinson talking about that situation. He's like, "We just got a bleeding email that says, well, guys, I ran into a bit of a pickle. I had myself a stroke." And he says, "And we're getting ready to leave in 2 months' time to go out." And he did it. He went out and did that tour. I mean, but what do you say, Nicko McBrain? We're going to find out with Iron Maiden. Here we go. We just saw him, ding dang it, man. We just saw him in Minneapolis, Minnesota, probably about a month ago or so. And I asked him, "How are you doing?" Eye to eye. He was having problems playing 16th notes, he said. Yes, I had problems with it. And I got 2 hands. But he's still Nicko. Funniest guy, best guy. So it doesn't surprise me that he retired. Because he told me before, I want the guys to go on when I'm ready to stop. And it's going to be soon, I tell you. Chris Jericho continued, Maiden is so classic in that. If you think about this, they didn't give fans a chance to even think about it. They announced it on the morning. On the morning. Not on the morrow. But they indeed spoke of it on the morrow. And then in the morning, they released it. He plays his last show that night. They announced the new drummer the next day, and boom. It's like, see you guys? It's like, whoa. They didn't do like the Nicko farewell tour or anything like that. But obviously, they've been planning it for a while. And Nicko, one of the most influential rock drummers ever, I agree. And more importantly, but I think Kleiber has a lot. They picked the perfect replacement. Didn't they just pick the perfect guy, I feel? And more importantly, just a sweetheart of a fella. He's one of those guys, as you all know, no one ever says anything bad about Nicko McBrain, I tell you that, ever. They don't ever do it. He's just the friendliest, nicest, happiest, most encouraging guy. So nothing but the best to him, man. And it's going to be hard to replace Nicko McBrain. It's always hard to replace a member of your band until the next day when you do it. You know, it's going to be hard to replace Joey Jordison. It's a Nicko McBrain, man. But he earned his right to step down, and he's just a classic drummer and a classic man. Let's see him. Again, we're going to fire this up. It's Iron Maiden's official video, and it's a thank you to Nicko. And we'll probably not watch the music when they... There he is, Nicko McBrain. He's heading to the stage. Standing ovation.
Thank you so very much for all the work you've done for us, and I'm sure you all appreciate that I hate you all.
He says, I hate you all, but he don't. He loves them all.
So Sao Paulo! Tonight
Sao Paulo, Brazil.
is a very special.
Oh,
Some of you, I think probably all of you,
You're all right, mate. You got to be all right.
this morning we announced, Nicko announced, that he was stepping back from playing live.
place is so big there, it's echoing out.
We love you, buddy. You fucking rock.
So,
Yeah, he's just a pleasure and a delight.
42 years Nicko has been in this band.
He's got a lot of admiration for him.
Before I was a singer, he was a pilot. Before I was a pilot. And
Really?
now he's not leaving the band, but he's just not playing live with us anymore.
He's not leaving the band. Oh, they're happy about it. They're like, fuck yeah, he's leaving. And that's old Steve Harris right there. He says, blister one out. I'm going to blister one out for you, buddy. I'm going to play with my best fingers tonight because it's your night.
If you do what you're going to do out there tonight,
Do it.
to let him know how much he's loved, everybody.
Bruce says,
I make a promise to you. Because it's Nico's special night, I won't bitch and moan about marijuana smoke blowing up here.
let's, a little more of this and then we're getting into your... Brazil, they smoking it out there. Ah, yeah. They love him. That's a way to go out.
So, we have a lot more music to get to tonight, and I want the rest of the night to be a celebration.
Yeah.
A celebration of the joy that he's brought.
You can tell Bruce is, he's got his feelings. This video's too damn long. We're not watching no more of that. But you can tell he's feeling it. He says he admires him so much. That's what Bruce said in this video that I watched. He says, I admire this man so much. He's just a peach.
To everybody around the world, not just here in Brazil, alright?
What those pants, man? Those are those weird pants from the 80s that your parents made you wear because you didn't know how to work a belt yet. Remember those? It was kind of stretchy material there. What the hell are you doing, dude?
And with that,
Let's go.
on we go!
This must be, okay, Nicko is just, if you're not playing along at home and you're not watching this, Nicko, they must have cut the tune out because Nicko is out there now and he's about to throw his drum head out there to some lucky bugger. Throw it to me! All right, we're going to get him. There he is. All right, we're moving on to your comments, guys. We love you, Nicko. And if you listen to this podcast, my friend, let me just tell you, I'm a fan. I love your work. And thank you for listening to the podcast, by the way. If you are indeed tuned in, that's very wonderful. We've got your comments. That's right. It is your time. It's your time to shine. We all shine on this podcast. If you put your comments in there and they're not rude. And here you go. Johnny B. Richie Blackmore. Last episode he was talking about one of the greats that doesn't seem to be mentioned in a specific time period of rock history is Richie Blackmore. He says, Richie Blackmore is a damn treasure, isn't he? In my humble opinion, he's a far better player than his peers. Check out some live early stuff he and Deep Purple do here on YouTube. So you're saying I don't have to go anywhere else? You're saying that I don't have to download some other app in order to see Deep Purple in action? He says, fantastico. Johnny B says, I'm on a boat right now, headed for a tropical destination that is far warmer than the icy state I live in, Michigan, a.k.a. Hoth. That's the snow planet in Star Wars, the good Star Wars movies. Planet Hoth. That's where he cut open that, right? That's where they find Luke. Hey, where's Luke? And he's inside the goddamn tauntaun. So are you lying to us? Or are you telling us the truth? You're on a boat and you're headed to sea and you're in a tropical situation right now. I mean, I'm happy for you. AKA, he talks about he lives in Michigan. It's freezing fucking cold. Hoth tips the hat to Empire Strikes Back. Will be just fine until I get back. I hope everyone is well and are enjoying the beginnings of their holidays. Is that why you're on it? You're on some kind of holiday cruise? Oh, he's got a PS here. Thank you for the deep dive into Neuma by our beloved Tool. What a treat. Great song that isn't annoying at all. Looks at Miss Althea. Oh! Did she say something about it? She said it stank, didn't she? A chock full of delicious... Did I see that? A chock full of delicious riffs and tribal beats, and I did say that. They're more tribal than they are progressive. Delicious riffs and tribal beats that only Tool can pull off, and I agree with that. Prove me wrong, I cannot do it. Until next time, never let your lemons drop. It was weird that right when I read lemons drop, I got that tingle of like, you need to go to the restroom, but you're going to be a big boy and hold it. Yeah, well, good luck on your trip. I mean, it was, fucking race cars outside. Don't you love a hot rod in the neighborhood? Isn't that guy great? He's got to burn up the pipes in the neighborhood. Mike Buchanan, I'm in a real kind of a mood today. I'm feeling like. Mike Buchanan coming in here. Our friend Mike Buchanan says, we are back at it once again with movies that are bad, but we love them anyways. Fat Man. Oh, 2020. I was going to say, do I remember that? No. 2020. Starring Mel Gibson as Santa. And if you watch Fallout Walton Goggins... Oh, yes! I watched that. I liked it. Fallout, if you watch Fallout, that's on Amazon Prime. I think Fallout's that video game. I bought it for my kid. Number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5 of them, all $60 a pop. Fallout, Walton Goggins, he plays the ghoul. Okay, so Mel Gibson and Walter Goggins. Fat Man is one of those little independent films that entertains in a surprising-like manner, as it does have an interesting story with well-known actors, and it is a joy. Set during the Christmas season, a 12-year-old boy receives nothing, so he decides it's the big red-suited man's fault, and he hires a ruthless and crazy hitman, the fine, wonderful Walton Goggins, to hunt Mr. Claus down and kill him. As a subplot, and on the side as a wild card-like story, is Chris, in the fine turn from Mel Gibson. In fine form is Mel Gibson, a real-life Santa who makes a living meeting kids' needs. Only Chris is down on his luck and broke. However, when he takes up partnership with the U.S. military, things change. This film becomes an action-like thriller with two central characters ending up crossing paths. Overall, this picture is underrated. Give it a watch, as the entertaining moments and fun, dark action and laughs keep on giving. Grab your favorite beverage. sit in your favorite chair, pop some popcorn, and press play. Mike Buchanan, my eyes, guys. Take a minute, take a moment. Rub eyes. You want to rub the eyes just long enough that it doesn't turn into masturbation. You know what I mean? You just want to rub them long enough to go, I'm not getting off on anything. I just needed to get the... Hey, Shane, I have a request. Just kidding. That was a good one. You son of a... Mike Buchanan on Richie Blackmore. For the most part, I would agree with him about today's music. But not all of it is bad, right? There are plenty of metal bands popping up all over the world that are well worth a listen. I agree. You know, I mean, today's music is not... It's focusing on the attention span of younger listeners and newer people, and it's got to have 1,000 different bits of music, because the kids today could listen to a Falling in Reverse song but only listen to the verse of it. Go, it's what I like. It's the only part I like is the verse part. Mike Buchanan says, you should always stand up for the defenseless. Good on you, Shane. And as curious, I would just drop it on asking your coworker. Yes. Okay, so he's talking about the story I told, long story, go listen to the last episode, but about the guy that I work with. And so you are saying, let it go. I have not mentioned anything, and it's already in the back of my mind already, but I think that's a good idea. No coworker go, hey, weren't you the guy? Mike Buchanan on Zach Wilde. Not much to say about him and Pantera. I would love to get new music, though, so I will just say that Zach Sabbath and the Iron Maidens are coming to town. Piqued my interest. I was watched a YouTube video of a couple clips, songs put together as Zach Sabbath. And I was like, that's not bad. And he kind of goes down into the... Doesn't he do like some of the off... He doesn't just do the hits, right? He goes into the catalog, as we would call it in the music biz. So that's piqued your interest and you might go. Mike Buchanan says, I find most of all of my movies that are bad over on Tubi. I love that channel. I do too. And I'm not prepared to tell. There was a paranormal show I was watching, but I think it was called something like The Paranormal Interviews or something. And there's one guy I was going to tell you guys to go watch, because you see the still shot of this guy with his weird mustache and his flat top hairdo, and you go, that is a guy I want to hear from. I mean, just the minute I saw his image, I went, oh, I got to hear his interview. I'll deal with that another time. Yeah, Tubi is great. I love Pluto, too, because that's got a 24-hour... Ghost Hunters that just runs episode after episode. I told you I'm a paranormal nut. Mike Buchanan says, okay, not sure about Buckcherry opening for the Scorpions. Weird. They're going to be doing every night at their residency, apparently. Mike Buchanan on Ricky Rocket and his damn stolen drum set. I swear I've never been anywhere near Don's drum vaults. Okay. In other news, do you know where I can get drum lessons? I kid, of course. Now, I need to know, did you steal his drum set? Or are you just making a joke there? That totally sucks. Okay, that confirms that he didn't really steal it, because he's saying it sucked. How is someone going to be able to pawn those? Yeah, where do you put them? Where do you ever play them? It's like, dude, what? Phones these days. The guy. Let's say the guy's a drummer that stole them. You're gonna go set him up at the local bar? You go, dude, check it out. He's playing fucking Poison's drum set. That's weird. You're doomed. You can't use those. So this is what he's saying. Mike Buchanan says that totally sucks. How is someone going to be able to pawn those? Bring them back, dumbass. For someone who has been to New Year's been to New Year's Eve at Times Square. Oh, you have. A few times, he says. I would agree with wearing an adult diaper. But alas, I did. And once again, what? But I did not. That was a close call there. I might have missed a line. Everyone would have thought that you wore a diaper out at New Year's Eve. I always think of those Hallmark movies. It's New Year's Eve. We're all bundled up in white furry coats, and we're just like,
Isn't fucking life wonderful? I mean, it just doesn't get any better than this. My beloved loves me.
you know, those horrible Hallmark movies that, I mean, I get sucked right into them because they're so bad. I saw a clip from somewhere. It was from a Hallmark movie where it's a winter wonderland, you know. And the guy runs out of the house to catch the girlfriend. And when he's coming down the hill with the snow on it, you can see it's cotton. His feet are stepping all weird on it. It's just great. For someone who has been a diaper, but alas, I did not. And before you ask, yes, you just whip it out and pee in a bottle. No one cares. Really? At Times Square? I'm reading this again. For someone who has been to New Year's Eve at Times Square, you just piss in a bottle right there in front of everyone. 3, 2,
Hey, hold on here. I'm shaking off.
New Year's Times Square, I would agree with wearing an adult diaper, but alas, I did not. And before you ask, yes, you just whip it out and pee in a bottle. No one cares. That is why they call it the fucking Big Apple. That's why it's New York City. It's like, that would be like 5 o'clock news where I live. Man pisses in bottle. You know? And I ain't got bugs, man. I got hair that I need to really do something about. It's another one of those midlife horse shit things that happens. You go bald, you start getting a lot of hair in your ears and your nose. No one cares. And once again, Shane needs to be sponsored by Liquid Death. Someone needs to make this happen. A cool 2 G's a month. No, 5 G's a month, man, and let's get it done. Let's get the deal damn done. And back pay for every one of my drinks. See, a lot of the sponsors that you'll see from these guys, now I'm not even going to show you the damn label, because it's almost like I'm formally doing an ad. But it's just sitting somewhere on their desk. I drink the sons of bitches, okay? They're paying some no good Nick over here to set it in the camera shot. Just put it right there. We need you to take a swig of it. I'm not taking a swig of that. I take 1,000 of these swigs. And now it's time for Mike Buchanan's Jive Talkin Jokes of the Week. What is the absolute best Christmas present you can give someone? A broken drum. You just can't beat it. What did Adam say on the day before Christmas? It's Christmas Eve. I said that wrong. It's Christmas Eve. Because he's Adam. Adam and Eve. Don't you get it? Don't you know who Adam and Eve are? They're the one that make them sex toys on the internet. A while back, I was in a hotel lobby and I spotted a couple of chess enthusiasts bragging about past wins. They were chestnuts boasting in an open foyer. Chestnuts boasting in an open foyer. How does good King Wenceslas, is that right? How does good King Wenceslas like his pizza? Deep pan, crisp and even. You really need to know this song to understand this joke. Yeah. I mean, I feel like Wenceslas was a gnome song. And finally, coffins make terrible Christmas presents. They are the last thing anyone needs. Fine there, Mike Buchanan, fine. And I'll tell you another thing. I had to reset this page because Miss Althea, once again, half of her stuff was not there until I refreshed the page and went down. I double check now. Pardon me. I double check. Miss Althea, we're going to take a moment because I shall not burp air before we get into this. You don't just burp and then launch into somebody's comments. You give that break and that space, that, so you can now go. And it's time for Miss Althea. The dumbstruck fool says, Richie Blackmore. She's talking that. Agreed. The creepy 70s style amber, in quotes, aviator sunglasses weren't working. She's talking about that picture of him where he looked like Jeffrey Dahmer. I am simply not a fan of that aviator shape and style. Not even when the love of my life, Eric Carr, wore them. So you're not a fan of them glasses at all, and Eric Carr had a pair of them, and you saw a photo of him. Did you rip it up, the photo, or did you just look at it and flick away? Gasp. You were correct about Bye Bye Love being the Everly Brothers, by the way. Excellent. They had a lot of good little tunes. I used to know this drunk lady that would, every time I ran into her, would talk about how Johnny Mathis was her cousin. She was a mother to a friend. And she was always 3 sheets of the wind, and she'd always go, you're not going to guess who my cousin is that I'm cousins with. You'll never guess it, but he's famous. And I'd say, I don't know, Johnny Mathis? You're a fucking wizard or something. And she'd run around trying to find a knife. No. But she always just said Johnny Mathis. Johnny Mathis. Oh, really? You had to pretend like you'd never heard it before. Really? Oh. Does he give you any money or anything? I mean, are you in touch with him? Oh, we haven't talked in years. That was the other part of his. My part of the family is hated by his. I'll tell you right now, they hate all of us. I'm sorry, Miss Althea. Jeez. You were correct about Bye Bye Love. By the way, I love that song too. Although, wake up, little Susie, wake up. Yes, is my number one from Phil and Dawn. Is that their names, Phil and Dawn Everly? All else about the piece was a bunch of blah, blah, blah to me. There has always been crap on the radio, and there will always be crap on the radio. And one man's crap is another man's treasure. Not everything can be appealing to all people. Therefore, what was the point of that interview? I mean, she makes a very good point. The point of the interview was for him to say radio's awful. And we got much more out of it than that. We didn't care about that. We cared about the glasses and the fact that he's sick enough to go and buy something from a Jeffrey Dahmer evidence room. Because some seedy cop was selling the shit out the back, and he was over there, excuse me, fine sir, I'd like to buy them aviator glasses. What got blood on them from that man he killed? No one, not everything can be appealing to all people, therefore, what was the point of that? I agree. The bus debacle. Bless you for standing up and being vocal for another human being, period. So many others, too many others, do not. As soon as you forget about yourself, you're able to do anything that you want to do. You know what I mean? I'm not going to get into that your ego and all that kind of stuff, but I'm just saying a lot of people's is anxiety about stuff like that is what's happening to me, and as soon as you go, that can't happen. And to be honest with you, and I'll be totally honest, if there was some of them guys that were on the bus were big guys, big construction dudes. If that one goes, this fucking guy's going to get it in about 2 minutes, I wouldn't have had to do nothing. It was when I looked and noticed that everyone was going, I'm not doing nothing. You know, because if one of them were, I would have been quiet about it. Miss Althea, I saw something down here about Ricky Rocket, and she says fuck in there. Did she say something about that? I thought I saw the F word in here. Maybe I didn't. Miss Althea on Zach Wilde. Yawn. How are you doing the letter changes? You've done it here on gasp, and you've done it here on yawn. Is there buttons for that? Zach Wilde. Yawn. Slow news day. Fluff piece. But you managed to make it interesting with your Eddie Junk in the Trunk impression, which always cracks me up. Miss Althea on Ricky Rocket and the bastards that stole his drum set. I punched my fist really hard. I'm pretty dang strong, what I'm realizing. Because me just doing that to my hand has made this hand hurt. It's like, I might be an older guy, but I still got a little bit of fists of fury going on with you. Maybe I'll go to work and tell them it. Yeah, I don't like the way you're running things around here. Miss Althea on Ricky Rocket. Another great thing he does is animal advocacy. Is he vegan or any of that? Regarding the stolen drum, sounds like an inside job to me. One stolen kit would be one thing, but 4? Very good point. I don't know, ... I wish him all the best in receiving the goods. And no, you don't fuck with him. He's a black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, for God's sakes. They're all into it, aren't they? All right, here's a question for you to put down in the comments. Who'd you like to see win more? This might, I'm going to throw this out, but this might, and I'm not trying to clash up old Johnny B and Miss Althea, because she said something about that Tool song. She didn't like it. Maybe she'll talk about that. But who would you rather see win in a jiu-jitsu battle? Ricky Rocket, black belt in jiu-jitsu, or Maynard James Keenan, black belt in Brazilian jiu-jitsu? Who would you like to see win that? I wish him all the best in recovering the goods, and he's a black belt. The pit diaper, Miss Althea on the pit diaper. It would seem by the photo with the ad that they are manly. Yes, but women like it too. I am totally with you on when you gotta go, but not like that. I'm not soiling anything that has a price point of $75. Very good point. You are literally wiping your, literally $75 you're wiping your ass with. Literally. And yes, ad copy does entail things like taglines and slogans, but it is primarily text within an ad, description or sale pitch for a product. Okay. That didn't explain anything to me, but I read it, and my small brains don't understand it. I'm kind of excited to get into the second episode of the Wild Wild West tonight. Another thing about those old TV shows, like I watched a couple Columbo episodes and stuff like that, is that was like a night of television every week. So it's like an hour-long episodes. And I kind of like that. Miss Althea on Be Good Johnny by Men at Work. Still one of my 80s favorites. I love that entire record from Business as Usual from Men at Work. But I love that song that's all, I look at your school photographs, but I don't have them anymore. I mean, that whole album is great. And the one line that was the creepiest out of Be Good Johnny that I left out was the where he says, you going to play football this year, Johnny? No? Well, you must be going to play football then. Yes, yeah, Johnny, aren't you, little lad? No?
Well, you sure are a funny boy, Johnny, but I like you. So tell me, this is the line. So tell me, what kind of boy are you, Johnny?
And if you've ever, there's a great documentary about, what's his name? The lead singer, I can't remember. Colin Hayes. And he is so wonderful. He tells great stories. Like he goes out and does acoustic songs and tells these fantastic, funny stories and stuff. So check out that documentary about Colin Hayes. Miss Althea, on He Day to Black Sabbath, I created a game. You can try it at your own leisure anytime you'd like. It's called Black Sabbath the Game, where you take your musical app or whatever way you want, however you want, and you try and find an artist that you can get back to Black Sabbath within 10 clicks or 10 different artists, if that makes sense. Miss Althea did it with He Day, legendary, rest in peace, 60th birthday party coming up. Has already passed now that we're watching this. She got him in 4 clicks back to Black Sabbath, so maybe this is it. Connection recap. He Day to Black Sabbath connection recap. But make it 3 moves, not 4. No Spotify needed. 1. He Day was in Japan with Yoshiki. Bang, bang, bing, bing, bing. 2. Yoshiki played on stage with Kiss. Plus, he is friends with Gene Simmons. 3. Kiss opened for Black Sabbath in 1975. Done. I mean, it's right there. As soon as you said Yoshiki, I went, oh, he played piano with Kiss, and he played drums with Kiss too. There, when they went to Japan or whatever. Fantastic. Done. And then the song Brandy, the wonderful song Brandy. Miss Althea comes in and says, Looking Glass was the band that did Brandy, and I knew it was something like that. Very, very good. And we got some quick ones here. Kristen coming in. She's been hanging out in the comments. Let's see. Let's take a look at the stats. 76 comments and 15 hearts. You will be receiving that heart now. She says, liked it. Short, to the point, and sweet. She liked it. She likes all my podcasts. Bang. And then Christian Hanus here. How about a drum opening, Shane? That would be killer, brah. Well, how about a drum closing? What do you think of that? Maybe a little, come on, tones. Where's it? How about a little, Surfing USA? Damn it. If I could have got that over to a good beat, that would have really... Hey, thank you, we're rolling with this song. I've really been beating the hell out of this thing. Oh. Come on. Oh my God, this is going real bad. Why can't I hear my instruments? What the hell's going on with this? Jive Talkin, Jive